brother died, then you would marry, his wife because she needed someone to take care of her and her children or so forth. These days, people use the excuse of culture in order to just
justify.
Exactly. To go desires, exactly.
Okay.
So they don't have to keep their libidos in check. This is my culture.
So like all organisms, it metamorphosizes.
And you evolve as a human being.
You evolve. But hear me out. No, that's exactly, no. To your point, sorry. To your point, you're right. We evolve, but something has to have happened for us to know we need to evolve. Unfortunately, it's this current. But you're seeing this whole village, but this is happening in the span of about 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? Considering a lifetime, of 100, 200 plus years, something happened in 20 years, which is less than 10% of the existence of the culture. We need time to adapt.
But when you have 25%, like the Swaziland, when you have 25% of the population, an HIV prevalence rate of 25% of the population, you don't have generations to evolve and adapt, or you won't be around. So you need to make sure that you check the behaviors and check the culture, and making sure, as Alex says, that you preserve for future generations. So you need to adapt quickly. You don't have time.
And I would just to add, and I don't know how much coverage it's received or seen, in terms of the numbers of people who die every single week. Every single week. One of the biggest growth industries in South Africa. Funerals, coffin making, catering for funerals. And if you go outside of the major cities, although you can see it there as well, we're literally talking about thousands of people being buried every week. It's unreal. When you see it, it looks like something out of, it's a vision of hell if you think about it. And then to say, these behaviors, and in this case you're speaking specifically about HIV and AIDS, this is a disease of choice, by and large, outside of, obviously, forced relations and all the rest of it. Blood transfusion, all the rest, and not excusing it by any means. But people who decide that they will take a risk, not only of exposing themselves, but another human being, and in some cases even when they may know their own status, and expose another human being.
And they take away somebody else's choice because they don't tell them, and they don't protect themselves.
This is a culture that is not meeting the needs. Right. And that's why I'm just saying, but culture is very flexible.
So to bring it back to our original conversation, basically what you're saying, that it's a good thing for people outside of the culture to adopt.
Thank you, Lisa.
Because that's what I'm reading. That's what I'm reading. The argument is about removing a child from their culture, and basically what you're saying is how important is this culture?
I'm saying that in an ideal world, what is it? Ideally, there would be no adoption. We have adoption. There would be no need for adoption because the existing culture would provide a framework for people to manage that situation. Right. How would we describe formal or informal? So I guess my concern is and what kicked us off was talking about sub-Saharan Africa, which may be more specific in terms of why we have so many orphans. By the way, in South Africa alone, there will be more than 4 million AIDS orphans by the end of 2009. Minimum 2010. And people have known about this. And these will be children raising other children. This is what's happening right now. So my point is, if you have the opportunity to place these children in a home that allows them better opportunities for a productive, meaningful life, fulfilling life, let's say culture, while it is learned, if it is strong enough, and they'll run the risk of getting in trouble, if it is valid enough, then that person has the opportunity to return to it and contribute to it in a more productive way. If not, then that culture, like an organism, as you were saying,
will die
of its own weight or core decisions. And a culture consists of the decisions of the people who shape it. That would be, and so I would say I have no problem with it. What people could do to help, obviously, it's some people have tried to take children out of cultures that they didn't value.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
we saw this in Australia.
Oh God.
What is it?
The Aborigines. Rabbit-proof fence.
Rabbit-proof fence is a good film about that. The same thing happened in Canada with Native American population, First Nations, as they refer to them. Similar things here. That's not what I'm saying. If we have the benefit of a perspective to say, one, we want to provide proper conditions for children to be raised. Secondly, we also don't want to devalue the positive qualities of their home cultures that may be going through transition, distress, implosion, depending on what's going on. Then we can make a decision. I mean, actually, the digital age is wonderful for capturing real culture as it exists, to preserve it, almost in a working time capsule, that you can then say, listen, we had to take you out of this, or you were removed from physically a situation that was not meeting your needs, but here you can learn should you choose to embrace it.
And I think it is the adopted parent's responsibility to provide those opportunities.
And for others to provide them resources to maintain it, because a good Christian family may adopt a Muslim child, and that child may then say, but you know what, my history, your traditions don't meet with my needs. Because there's a reason why I was born in a Muslim country to a Muslim family that was well adapted for where it was, and I want to go back to that. So it should be possible for a group to put together support guides to say, you know, at what point do you decide to reintroduce this child to their home culture, or give them the option of doing that. And I think there is a strong human need to reconnect with one's roots at all times. And we see this with adopted children who then look for their birth parents.
True.
All around. So for me, it's more the survival of people who are coming from these circumstances, to give them an opportunity to be as productive to the lives of all people on the planet. And that's not meant to be kumbaya. Who knows what we may learn from children who are coming from these backgrounds.
Barack Obama's father.
Well, Barack Obama's father, but for example, the first person, Christian Barnard is the South African who was given credit for doing first heart transplant. But he learned his craft from a black South African who was working, who actually pioneered the work on splicing blood vessels. This is an individual who only recently is starting to get credit, but even now it's not that well known about this. So again, people from all over have made tremendous contributions.
Exactly.
We need to be sensitive to that, and then find structures to make everyone more available, so that we don't run around with shutters over our eyes.
Okay.
So what I'm interpreting, can I just respond?
Sorry, yeah.
What I'm hearing from what you said is that Madonna adopting this child from Malawi is really allowing him an opportunity to self-actualize, which he may not have been able to do had he been left.
It may allow him for an opportunity, because I've not been inside of Madonna's home. I don't know how she is as a mother and how she interacts with support. It may provide the opportunity for this child.
To the extent,
And you also made a point that it's up to the adoptive parents, their responsibility to teach the culture. And I think, how better can you do that by, say, adopting somebody else who looks like the child, you know, to kind of bring a different perspective.
Or living in the country. And Malawi is a beautiful country. Beautiful lake, Lake Malawi. There are game parks, there are forest preserves, but more importantly, the people are beautiful, warm, wonderful. It is called the warm heart of Africa for a reason. So by living in the
They say
country.
she plans to appeal, so maybe
Well, hopefully the appeal is to live there.
She can live there while the appeal goes.
It's not like she has to go to work. It's not like she has to go to work every day.
On that note, we'll end this discussion on.
already so soon?
Sorry,
We'll do part two next month.
But definitely sooner than another 10 years.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Face Off Brunch Series family, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you later.
What about the next topic?